Hi there, and welcome to the early bird. And we're just going to have a look at the general bigger picture on some of the indices, just to point out the predicament that we're in and how we need to allow the markets a little bit of time and wiggle room, I guess, to display the next price action to give us the next direction. In terms of the ASX 200 here, we've been looking for this a low to come in through here, and the standard issue with that is the 61.8%. And that's sort of in there, and then we've been watching this push up here for a few days up through here, and looking at this particular wave count coming up through here. So we were kind of keeping our fingers crossed, really, in terms of looking for something like this here, where it would start to push up higher, but basically a five-wave structure moving higher. This would also mean that it would be helpful if the Asian markets and the US markets all fall into play and do this as well. So this is our sort of local market here, and this is what we're looking at. So when we look at the intraday work on this, we'll be looking for five waves up through here, and then a 61.8% back through here. And the SPY is basically given us that lead back in for this move back down through here, as the US markets have as well, and we'll have a look at that. So just bear that in mind, because the US markets have done five little waves up to here and then three waves back, and right at this point here they need to push up from that point there. So we'll explore that in a minute, but just to have a look at some of the other markets here. This is the Dow Jones Comp. So it's, from memory, it's made up of sort of 60 companies rather than 30 on the Dow here. But what sort of interests me here a lot is that, first of all, this structure here seems unfinished. And what does get my attention here is this three-wave pattern here, in terms of that one, two here and three there. That's like an ABC correction. That's a corrective move, and we should see that push up from there. It certainly can be counted as a downward movement as well, and the way that that would work is that if that was five waves through here like this, then just push that out like that. So in this, each one of these waves coming down through here would be five waves. And what we would have here is we would have this first wave down to here, which would be this one here, yeah, and then we go back up to here, which would be back up to here, and then we're starting a bigger structure to the downside, the third wave to the downside here. And this move here coming down here would be the wave one and back for the wave two, which would be this one here, down for one here and back for two. So if this moves further down, essentially taking out the low of that structure there, which would be the low of this structure here, then would have a bear market on our hands. Normally for this to push up there and to continue up from there, if it is an A and a B and a C wave, then we would see this push directly to the upside like such. And this movement back down through here would be the normal 61.8% coming in from this level here, which would be around where it is now. So that's what we're sort of looking at there. This pattern can be two things. We just need to allow it to play out. So essentially these supports at 61.8% have got to be in play, and we need to push up from there, and we would see that in the Dow Jones as well. So with the Dow Jones being here, if we put the minor trading levels on here, we'll see that we've got the 5 and the 8 here. So in the bullish pattern, we would be looking at this down here as an ABC like that, yeah, three-wave structure, and then we'd be looking for five waves up. So we'd be looking for five waves up like that, okay? So that move up through there would be five smaller waves, and then we'd be looking for a pullback 61.8%, thereabouts, no big deal. And we could also use the 12,500 in here as well, the minor trading level through here as support. But if this market breaks sort of lower down through here early in the week, then we've got a bit of a problem. Yes, it can come down, and if it breaks to 12,450 thereabouts, then sort of the warning bells go off a bit. So that's what we're sort of looking at there. In terms of the bullish picture. So it's really got to sort of stay, above the 12.5 would be nice. Warning bells would go off under that, and doubly so under 12.450. So that's the bullish scenario that would be sort of looking at, and that's across all markets. And the bearish situation here is pretty much just what I've pointed out before in terms of we would have this 5 waves, be a large 5 waves down like that. That would be wave 1 and wave 2 to there. And then we would be looking at this being down for 1 and back for 2 here. So that would be wave 2 back through here. So we'd want to see this become, on the short side, we want to see 12,500 become resistance rather than support. And then that would flip us to the bearish side of the market. So just pointing out that, we just need to give it time to work out if it's going to push up from here or if it's going to lock under from there. And that's where the next trade will come from. We have put some long positions in the market, but only small positions in terms of scaling in case there is a long side there. And we've got part of that structure there in terms of up for 5 and back for 3. So that's what we'll be looking at there. So when we look at that in terms of Halifax here, the Dow Jones here on the intraday here, so we've got that 3-wave structure there that I was talking about, the A, the B here, and wave C here. That's for the bullish count, and the bullish count would have this up in 5 waves through here in terms of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then the ABC for that. I think I might have got that on a 5-minute chart. That's a bit better there. So 5-minute chart. So having this as the C wave down the bottom, an ABC, then we're looking for the positive upside. And the positive upside would be up for 1, back for 2, up for 3, back for 4 into here, and then 5 waves up in through here to make 5 of wave 1, first impulse wave. Then we've got the A wave down to here, the B wave to here, and the C wave down to here. So that's what we'll be looking at that point. And then possibly this is the wave 1 up through here, and the wave 2 back to here. And then we'll be looking for wave 3 to make new highs up through there. So we would expect that 12,500 to stay in support. And that's why I was mentioning that under 12,450 here, the warning bells go off there. So we are at a very critical place in terms of the larger wave count being bearish or bullish. So we just need to chill out a little bit and work with that scenario there. And this would be the same for our local market as well. The S&P 500 is the same. And the Dow would be the same. This is the S&P 500, but you can see the overhead trend line coming down through here, and it's really nailing this trend to the downside. So you can see the pressure to the downside on all of this. We'll see how we go with it. Just coming into our local markets here. Let's see. Okay, probably can't see all of that. Okay, there we go. So this is the ASX 200. And there's a couple of ways to count this here. This count that I've got here so far with wave 3 here and wave 4 here, and looking for wave 5 up, is probably not correct. It's more likely to be wave 1 to here, wave 2 to here, then wave 3 and wave 4, and then wave 5 here. And then we're going down for an A and a B wave and a C wave here, which would be wave 2 here. So it would have wave 1 as a top here, and wave 2 coming back, and that would also be coming back to the 61.8% here. So we'll be looking for the cash market to come softer back in towards the 4,700 here. Maybe not as low as that, but in here, and we'll be looking at that as a 5-3-5 structure for here. So we really want to see, by Tuesday or so, that this being supported on here. The SPY has already pulled back its distance as well. So the SPY's moved up and it's moved back. So BHP in the US was down sort of nearly 1%. So it's going to place a bit of pressure on this here. Copper to the upside would make our market sort of steady. So the banks, the finance sector could be the line in the sand for that. I just wanted to talk about copper a little bit in terms of, just bear with me here for a second. Okay. So this was copper. This is copper in London, the LME copper chart here. We're normally dealing with COMEX, but look, what I wanted to point out here is the bigger picture. This is coming back to 207 and 206 here. So we've had this A, B, and C here for wave 4, and we're looking for wave 5 to go up to 10,000 and fail from that point there. And in that failing of that move down through here, we're looking at 5 waves coming down through here in terms of down for 1, back for 2, down for 3, 4, and 5. But we're kind of at this point in here at the moment, and just sort of show you that in a minute. So that's why I was always looking at this coming down in this sort of 5 waves. So when we're talking about COMEX, we're talking about it on the 400 level here, and we'll be looking at a wave 4 here. But in looking at this current move down in the LME from here down to here, it appears more corrective in terms of an A and a B and a C wave to here. And the reason that I'm getting that is I'm getting it from this particular structure in here. So I did put this chart in the trading levels section there, so you can have a look at that. So this is the move down from 10,000, and you can see that we've got this A, B, and C here, 3 waves here, not 5 waves in the first wave coming down. So that's telling me that it's corrective. So we'll be looking at this as an A wave and a B wave and a C wave down here. It's quite a nice structure actually, because the B wave's got 3 waves in it, because that's what a B wave is. It's a 3-wave structure, and the C wave from the B wave coming down to the C wave here is in quite a nice 5 waves really, in terms of the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, and the 5. That's all quite fitting. So we're looking at copper at the moment at the 400 here, which would be the 900 here. So it'll be interesting to see if this is going to be one of the drivers, one of the global drivers in pushing prices higher or lower. If it's going to be lower, then this will just pretty much lock under the 900 here. We can expect this to get softer on the arrival here and come back and find support here. But let's see how this develops here. It's just one of the main drivers that's quite easy to follow. So in the weeks ahead, you'll be able to work this out and see for yourself if the metals market or any of the indexes, a CRB or whatever, because they got the same sort of picture as this as well, how they go. So any support found on the 900 here, and that will take time to develop. It will come back and then it'll move up, and any sort of movement on here to find support on here would be looking at a possible bullish side through up there. And we'll also find this in copper as well. In the COMEX one, we're dealing with that every day, but this is just at the 9,000 here, the medium level. Yeah, and we'll have a look at that in terms of copper here. Excuse me. Okay, so we're looking at something then at 9,000 on the LME, and here we're looking at the COMEX here on the 400 here. So I was always considering this a 4th wave here, and that still may be the case, and we'll have the blue 5th wave down here. But just coming back into this picture here of the LME here, this first structure coming down through here, because it's in 3 waves like that, it's making me think that this whole thing here is an ABC correction. But at the end of the day, it will be about support and resistance on the 9,000 here, and also how it develops on this situation that we've got here as well, above the 400 here on the medium level. So it's still too early to say kind of what this is. But it could be one of the driving factors of pushing in line with the indices to the upside or the downside. So we'll just sort of focus in on that. The crude market here, as you know, we've got our sort of wave can on this, and it's going pretty much on course, and would be looking for sort of higher ground to come up here to complete wave 2 in due course. So the 5-wave structure up here would be up for 1, ABC back for 2, up for 3, back for 4, and up for 5 to finish wave C of 2. And the C wave comes in from the corrective point here down for wave 1 here. Then the A, 3 waves for the B wave here. Always got 3 waves in. And the C wave has always got 5 waves in. So we're looking for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up there. We'll see how we go with that. And the gold market as well, we were looking for, as you know, the 1500 here being the medium level here. It had a bearish bias being under the 1500 right up until this point here, but we did note that in this move up through here there was a 5-wave structure that would, once complete, would give an A and a B and a C, and then give another 5 waves up. And that's kind of what's happening here in terms of up for 1, back for 2, up for 3, so back for 4 and up for 5 there. So we'll see a bit more positive movement in that as well. So that's another little sort of key in the puzzle of looking at our local market, or the indices pretty much around the globe finding support. And we'll see that in the London market as well, which has got a bit of a different picture as well. I didn't quite sort of cover that, but we can have a look at that now. I kind of like the London market in terms of its wave count, because from this low down here, where it came and landed here, we can see quite a nice 5-wave structure up in terms of 1, 2, and then 5 waves up through here for 3, and then 4. That 4 really should possibly be there, and then up for 5 to there. And that what we're seeing now is an A and a B and a C wave coming back to the 61.8 mark here. So we should see the London market find support very shortly within there as well. But of course, this is going to depend on the Dow Jones finding 12,500 as support or resistance. And I'll open up another can of worms there. So it all boils back to that 12,500 mark, I guess. Yeah, we're going to see a stronger dollar push up. We've got a US dollar here. We've been looking at the wave count, as you know there. You may not trade currencies, but it's still a driving factor. And the wave 2 here that we've been sort of figuring out through all of this top here, because it wasn't that sort of easy, actually. There was the beginning of the structure was quite nice and easy. This here this top here got a bit sort of complicated, but we feel like it's unraveled now. And we should see this push up through here, but that pushing up through there, of course, is going to put the euro under pressure to the downside, and also the Australian dollar as well. So if you're trading currencies, then once this moves up through here and finds support on the 76 here, then we can look at that going further to the upside. So if you're going to short the euro for the long term to the downside, then what you'd be looking for here is support here. Just sort of pointing out here that this market can go a lot further up here. Of course, every level is important and it carries a different weight, but the 7772 here is what we'd be looking at, combined with the 78 here profit-taking number. So that will give some problems there, but this would all be a retest of the 80 coming up through here. So I know it's sort of a long way up and it's sort of a long way out of the picture, but just pointing out that these two levels and then this one here, this is the strongest, followed by these guys here in that order, and then all the other levels will break down within that. But finding support on the 76 here would, after the retest, a bit like this here. So you see how the market's come up through here, and it's tried to get up there and it's gotten up there, but when it's come back and tested to find support, it hasn't been there. it shot up through there and then came back and tested. So now this has become the support. You know what I mean? So it might not be as dramatic as that situation there, but it's kind of what you've got to search for. It could be in a smaller version like this here, because we're coming out of a correction here. This will be the all this is the foundation for the next trend up through there. So it may not hang around here very much. It might be something like this here. But either way, it's the retest. It's got to come back and check it and check it and check it, so to speak. So it's got support there, and you can also have a look at the wave count that that moves up through there as well, and that's something that we'll be doing during the week. All right, so that pretty much sort of covers it. I know it's not a great help and it's just a general sort of chit chat, but we don't really have a direction, and we will be looking for a direction coming from mainly the Dow Jones here. As you can see, it's the 12,500. If this whole area becomes resistance here, then you know you need to be looking for short trade setups for the longer term short, and any pushing up from here, then we can look to add into our long positions there. So you know, we're not really going to see anything until sort of Tuesday on the US market, for our local market here anyway. So a bit of patience, and yeah, and we just got to work our way through this situation here. So nothing I can really sort of say or do. We're traders, and we need to trade what we see, and we need to wait for a little bit of evidence to come in on this. Alrighty, that's what we'll be looking for and working with early in the week and during the week. So good morning and good luck.